continue to create our own narrative and inspire, especially the African American community, that you can do it.
Welcome back to Faye's Place, a podcast where dreamers have the liberty to dream. I'm your host, Phaedra, and I am so excited that we have this time to dream together.
From performing on stages around the world with one of the longest-running musicals in American theater, Mama, I Wanna Sing, to preserving and amplifying African American music with the Mama Foundation of the Arts, today's guest has a hand in shaping the next generation of entertainers. Ahmaya-Knoelle is here to help us celebrate Black Music Appreciation Month and let us know what it really takes to run a successful creative business. Thank you for stopping by Faye's Place, Knoelle. How are you doing?
Whoop, whoop. So happy to see you.
Oh, no.
A super cool evolution from beginning to now, coming through Mama Foundation and watching you grow.
Oh, my
goodness. And being in our shows and just seeing such a beautiful journey of like the flower blooming. It's so beautiful.
Thank beautiful. You. Yes, I wanted to share with our listening audience that you and Mama Vi have known me since I was like 14 years old.
Yes.
And now I'm like...
You were a powerhouse then. And you were super focused and you were very, very, very much aware. So I'm not surprised at this beautiful journey. You.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to tell everybody, I was like, it was when I was in Mama I Wanna Sing that I realized, oh, this is what I gotta do. Like, I fell in love with backstage, being on stage, the quick changes. I mean, it just really laid a foundation. So thank you, Knoelle, and thanks to Mama Vi for just always being so supportive of me and giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Awesome. So take us back to 5-year-old Knoelle growing up in Harlem. What did she dream of becoming?
Honestly, I was just enamored by the creative world. It's an interesting thing. Humanity is interesting when you're born onto the planet. You don't get to choose your parents, or you do, in perspective wise. Like, you don't know who you're gonna end up getting. And I was born into a creative, I would say, sphere. And being that around me, I kind of morphed into being a free spirit. And so I was singing the sounds that were around me at the time, and my mother and father were in theater. So there was a lot of music. And I was just singing kind of what I heard in my atmosphere. And I think that's a true testament to any place you put yourself in, right? There's a phrase that says we are the company that we keep, or we are, it's very likely that the environments that you're in, a lot of times they do become you. But interestingly enough, I mean, when you're young, you don't know. You're just there, kind of like soaking it all in. And most children don't do what their parents do. They want to go off in a different direction and do their own thing. But when I heard the music and I started to sing, one of my nursery school teachers told me that I was waking the kids up during nap time. Because I was singing myself to sleep, and then I would be sleeping, but the other kids would be awake because I was humming in my sleep. And that was kind of separate from when I was in the atmosphere of being in the theater world, which my parents were. So they, the teachers kind of discovered, well, this girl has a knack for singing. And I think it started from there. So then my parents, when they noticed that, they had no expectations, right? But when they noticed that, they began to nurture that. So.
That's beautiful, and it's always great when you have parents who can nurture the gifts, your natural gifts. So for over 20 years, or about 20 years, the Mama Foundation has served over thousands of students by providing musical education. What was that light bulb moment when you and Mama Vi said, I think this could actually be a business?
We had been on the road for so many years with the show Mama I Want to Sing, and I'd watch my family kind of bust down doors to fight for their story to be told. And most importantly, um, when the family stuck together, uh, it we were able to sustain. That speaks a lot to community and what unity does coming together. You've seen all of this flourishing in the past couple of weeks from the New York Knicks, right? And the city came together so tightly. Um, and the story of Mama I Want to Sing was my family's story. So we gathered up the family and we said, we don't want anybody to steal our narrative. We want to continue to create our own narrative and inspire, especially the African American community, that you can do it without the big boys. You just got to fight for it. Um, and that so I kind of there were some really tough times along the way, getting even before we built the whole foundation. Um, but a lot of it had to do with giving back, um, and pouring into young African American talent who needed a platform, who wanted to be heard, who was wanting to be nurtured in our community. And that's what Mama I Want to Sing did for hundreds, if not thousands, of people all over the world, especially when Mama I Want to Sing traveled to places like London on the West End with starring Shaka Khan and other amazing folks. When you're traveling with a Broadway show, or an off-Broadway show, you can't always legally, in terms of the unions, bring an entire American cast overseas. So you have to hire local talent, when you travel in these places. So Mama I Want to Sing gave opportunity to folks worldwide. When we traveled to their city or country, we hired local talent. And I think that was, that was a really amazing formula and a kind of a setup for what was just literally a story being talked about on the beach in Jamaica from my mom and dad. My mother told my father the story of what she saw through her own eyes, and her sister, wanting to sing and going to the Apollo and emerging from the Apollo and flying off without her mother's permission. And because, she was a church girl, she was a girl of faith. And she believed that the Bible taught her to follow that inner calling. And that scripture, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1, says, I therefore, a servant of the Lord, beseech ye to walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. And that scripture really says, you have been born on this planet with a purpose. And I have called you for this purpose. I have called you, not only I have called you, I'm calling you, but I beseech you, I beseech ye, to step into the calling, right? Beseeching somebody is strong calling. Like I'm telling you, you better follow the voice. A lot of people in humanity don't follow that voice for their whole life. Or when something's calling them, whether they want to be, a social worker, or they had that knack to sing, but they had to be a janitor, or they had to, so her faith really preceded her. And a lot of that understanding came out of the church. And the music and the gospel music, that's why we say gospel is the root. Gospel is the root. It brings understanding that we can come out of the valley and there is good news. It's good news. We have to show up for the good news. right? Gospel means good news. And so, fighting for that story brought reality. Mama, I want to sing. Any person who has a dream, anybody connected to that. It doesn't matter if you want to sing or not. That's why it became such a phenomenon. Um, so as it traveled through the world, uh, we we saw a lot of other cultures accepting it and a lot of other cultures not accepting it. But when I say reality, that show was like, now we have reality TV shows. That was like a reality TV show for Black folks back in the 80s when the TVs weren't like that, right? So they saw their own story, like a church being depicted on a stage was like, is not a thing. Um, and so when they saw themselves, the journey grew so massive um, that we had Team A, Team B, Team C. They called us to go out on the road for 6 months in America, and the show ran for 2 years on an American tour nonstop because people wanted to see it so much. But circling back to now, um, the story and the formula, to answer your question, the formula still remains. There is always a new generation turning over, right? And these young people have dreams and aspirations, and a lot of our young people in our community are so talented, and if they're not tapped into it, they won't even understand how to listen to the calling. It takes a village to even kind of spark the thought that there is something inside a human that is good enough, right? And so after pouring into and giving opportunities, first time professional jobs to many African American people over the Mama I Want to Sing times, we kind of took everything that we learned and wanted to build a foundation where we could continue that outside of the show. And my mother grew up in Harlem on 126th. And after I graduated, I went to music school. I went to music high school, PPAS, Performing Arts. And then I went to music college. And I also went to study theater at AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Academy. So after I got out of those studies, conservatory, my mother said, let's put our heads together to build something. She had acquired a building, and my father was actually a writer. So they were kind of like a dream team. They had visions together, but he helped her write them down. And when they came up with the vision for the foundation, he was the one who actually wrote the first grants to get funded to even keep the lights on and start coming up with platforms and programs that can make the foundation what it is. And so we had the building and we were beginning to build adult programs. But after I got out of college, my mother came up with the idea, so why don't we go, you and me, build a youth program of the foundation. And once we hit the radio, ad went out on the radio, and the line was around the corner for what she thought should be called Gospel for Teens, because, as I was saying, we know that the gospel is the root. And so she wanted to preserve, and I said, I think that's a great idea. I can take everything that I've learned in my conservatories and help build a structure for the programming. And then we took it off. And it was wild. You were a part of it. Hundreds and hundreds. I mean, like, we were packed on that stage like sardines.
Yes.
And I know. And so that program, Gospel for Teens, started in 2006. And this year marks its 20th anniversary for the Gospel for Teens program of the Mama Foundation. But now it has turned into the Mama Music program.
Okay.
And because we want to expand and celebrate every genre that has, spanned our African American landscape into America. So that's gospel, blues, funk, jazz, R&B, pop, hip hop. And every year we take in 50 to 75 new students each semester, twice a year, in a fall and a spring semester, just like most schools have. And then they come in as a young freshman, whether they have training or not. We take all levels, and we start at 7 years old, and we go all the way up to 19. Yeah, we brought the age down because kids nowadays are like an adult at like 2 years old.
Tell me about it. They come out the womb knowing how to handle an iPad. I'm like,
know, like I don't understand it, but there's some really, really talented folks in our community, and the organization now is thriving. We're operating it. We have a really great team on the ground in Harlem, and we travel out and spread the good news of the work that we do wherever we're called to go, from big stages to street corners to our summer camps where the kids pop up and sing all over the community for the initiatives. The whole point is for them to raise their voice and understand who they are through their culture and their African American culture, and other cultures as well. We have all kinds of people coming in to be with us. So that is the mission. And the foundation as a whole, not just that program, is 28 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful. I love it. So as a creative and a businesswoman, what's something about your job that is way less glamorous than what people may think?
Girl, I mean, it is a nonprofit organization. So anybody knows who knows, nothing is off the table. We are lifting and getting things done and moving things around and making sure people are accommodated and our community is comfortable and happy in the space, anywhere from moving microphones and making sure performances are okay, to zhuzhing up the space and renovations right now. And, so I'm in sneakers every day. I wish I could be in a business suit every day. But I just love it. I love it because just like you, I can sit here with you now and just feel so grateful that there was impact, and that you could call us years later and want to celebrate the moments and the memories that you learned from. And that's why we wake up every morning to do what we do, so I could see that beautiful smile.
Yes. I don't know if you know, but I actually graduated with my undergrad from theater and music business, and recently just got my master's in film and creative media with an emphasis in screenwriting. So
Yes.
you know.
Period.
So what most unexpected skill have you learned in this whole process?
The unexpected skill would be knowing how to run a business.
Right.
Not unexpected, but I didn't know. Unexpected in a sense that I graduated with theater degree, and I could have gone off to Broadway, still can, but life takes a pivot and a turn. And what the most amazing thing is, I think the takeaway is we must follow the inner calling. Your spirit will tell you where your feet should go, where your feet should land. Because I ended up the cookie cutter way, the white picket fence, I have a dream. I'm going to have this white picket fence. And life is not like that. You know what I mean? Eventually you can end up having it, but you're going to take some twists and turns. There could be forks in the road. And I by building the vision and just trusting where I was at the moment, and that whatever God had for me, whatever the universe had for me, I would go with it, and I know I would land in the right place because I had a sense of mind. Thank God I had some good parents who put some sense into me.
Right.
Um, but and yeah, I lost my thought. But yes, that's
Yeah, so the unexpected skill, you know, is just like,
the unexpected skill was um being able to be in an environment and have that environment teach you,
yes.
um and knowing how to how to receive that, opening your heart enough um to receive the unexpected blessing. Just, I mean, more so just recently learning how to deal with the business of running the business. And the arts is a business. Even churches are a business.
Mm-hmm.
Churches are nonprofits,
Mm-hmm.
and nonprofits means having a nonprofit means that it is donation based. And the church is a nonprofit. You have to survive by the collection plate, you know?
Amen. Right.
And so um, learning the inner workings of a nonprofit, especially of how city grants work, state grants work, um, how there's no question in proving impact, right? Because our foundation has proved the impact and changed lives of so many. But you have to keep that up.
You do. Yes.
And so it's the same thing in life, and you know, how do you reinvent yourself to continue to keep the mission alive and relevant
Right.
in the new generation? And that has been a challenge. I don't want to say so much unexpected, but it's been a blessing because a lot of people do go to school for that. But I was able to be taught inside of the moment, on the job training.
As we know, June is Black Music Appreciation Month. So here's a little fun question. What song has to be played at a cookout for you? What is your go-to song?
Well, I would
I agree
definitely
with that.
say.
I think I know what you're just about to say, but what were you
I
gonna
mean,
say?
it's the cookout song, but it's Before I Let Go. I
Yeah.
mean, where it just brings so much joy and togetherness. What other songs needs to be played at the cookout? I need to hear some, like, I'm an Erica Badu girl.
Okay.
Like, I need to hear some neo soul, like some summer kickback. I'm in the mode of like investing in self and relaxation type, style. So
Hmm.
um, sometimes my cookout may be a solo cookout by myself nowadays, because our mission is growing, and we at Mama Foundation, want to get a new building. We're vowing for what we call a capital building campaign, and it's a long overdue. The Mama I Want to Sing story, and is is a testament of how strong we are as a culture, and as Black folks as well, Black owned businesses. Um, Mama I Want to Sing deserves a headquarters and a museum,
Yes.
and the whole
The whole thing.
um, the whole nine. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, so going back to the cookout songs, um we're so busy continuing to build an empire. I always like to get away and get the moments alone. So we've been into this music called frequency music. um 520 Hz frequencies, which is a lot like meditation, but
Hmm.
it's if you ever been into sound bowls and frequencies in terms of bringing your heart, your chakras in alignment in such a crazy world where you built an empire, and now everybody is needing to pull from you. Now you have to give back to yourself. And so I have been
Mhm.
having some self cookouts recently.
Yeah, it's needed. It's needed. And that's so funny because that goes into my next question. When you're not working, what do you enjoy doing?
I have a doggy.
Oh,
Um, I love going to the park, and just playing with him. I love watching movies. I'm a pretty simple girl. I love walking around my neighborhood. I always
Okay.
walk home in the summer just to experience the community. I love outdoor events like concerts in the summertime.
Yes.
Um, and I love food.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
food is my vice. So I'm a foodie after traveling around the world so much from a young age. Um, if I'm going to go to a restaurant, I want my chef singing when they make my food.
Exactly.
I'm a little up there with my food, but yeah, I just love trying different styles and cultures of food.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring singers and business owners?
I would say to the aspiring singers and business owners, keep that smile on your face no matter what. Continue to find the joy no matter, even when it gets tough. The fact that you are, after you've done all you could do is stand, right? And whatever you're going through, like whether it be a day later or years later, um, just know that you have the ability to laugh about it, and you have the ability to change your mind to get to that better place, and not to be so discouraged that you have to stay discouraged, you know? Um,
That's an art. That's an art, but it's a must.
I know. And I think that would be my message, is that we always have the ability to smile. We always do. And turn the frown upside down and say, hey, let's look at our blessings before we look at the other stuff first.
So, what are you currently dreaming up?
I'm dreaming to have an extended version of this Mama Foundation for the Arts. The summer is busy for us. We do our summer camps in the summer, um, and I personally um, looking to have a family and continue the legacy. And
Yeah.
I'm an only child, and I wasn't even supposed to be here. My mother had a miscarriage,
Wow.
and so when I came, it ended up being just like, oh, a surprise, and they were wanting a child anyway because my parents had me at an older age, and so my dream is to continue what we're doing now, but have a really beautiful space to operate in, and like a building nearby in Harlem that is very, very much elevated and institutionalized, really. So um, that's my big dream now, is to personally have a family, find a husband,
Yeah.
and then continue to and maybe change the name but not the integrity of it.
Okay.
The Higginson School of the Arts, or
Mm,
something,
I like
but we'll see.
that.
Continue to pay it forward. So
Yeah, well, thanks so much for sharing. I know that all your dreams will come true. And if there's anything that we can do and our listeners can do, please do not hesitate to let us know. So I know that you have a residency every Friday at Red Rooster, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
yay! So a couple years back, right during COVID, Mama Foundation has a partnership with Red Rooster since the beginning. Like, it's been over 15 years at this point, where we inaugurated a gospel brunch, now the longest running gospel brunch in New York City. Um, and it happens every Sunday, 2 shows. People from around the world come to hear the voices and come back after all this long. Um, and so after, we've been there that long, the owners approached me to build another platform, because after COVID, the restaurants they had to work at 50% capacity. If you remember, we were sitting in between plexiglass during that time.
Yes, oh my gosh.
And Red Rooster stayed closed longer because they didn't know what was going to happen. And as they were slowly crawling out, a lot of businesses opened way before them, but as they were slowly crawling out, they wanted to use the music to help bring the energy and the camaraderie back together. And so I at first I started doing a Monday night with some of our artists from Mama Foundation who are already aspiring, making their own music, but still involved in Mama Foundation. A lot of the alumni still come and they do activations with the Sing Harlem Choir. And so amazingly, the evolution has allowed us to build the Sing Harlem Company, which allows artists to, once they've established their time and giving back to the org, it allows us to give them workforce employment, and they're W-2. They are W-2 employees. So the Sing Harlem Company, they are really a force. And that's the goal, to allow them to be paid for their artistry. So what the Mama Foundation does is identify the talent, then train them, and then give them platforms and give them employment. So we're proud of that. I'm really proud of that. Part of that evolution process took a long time to get there over these past couple of years, but that allowed us to branch out. And then I made my own Ahmaya-Knoelle Productions version. Basically, Ahmaya-Knoelle Productions brings the portion of the Mama Foundation into the next generation, where we do very current live activations, music activations, anywhere from restaurants to clubs to weddings to all the likes, live music for anything that you need. And so we started building a residency there after Red Rooster asked us to do it on a Monday. And we were like, I'm going to treat this as a startup. I'm going to learn as we go along. But we were able to nail down some of the really great singers in our org who actually wanted to take that route of doing weddings and other things, live music. And they said, let's continue to do this. And we created a consistent platform where you can see those same singers come back every week. So they have like a weekly practice platform, but they're singing from folks all over the world, some amazing people. And that Monday ended up moving to a Friday night. So now we're there every Friday, slaying it. The folks are on the dance floor, and it's a whole experience. They're singing their faces off. It's insane. The band is insane because after all these years, they played together and they're really tight, and it's amazing. We have people who sit in and come and hang out. So you got to come and sing.
Oh, well, thanks for the invitation, girl. I'll be there.
And the Friday nights, because we started 15 years ago, I decided to call that platform the Residency, because that's like our second home. So we're always there.
Oh, that's so great. So to all our listeners who want to keep up with you, Knoelle, and get their children into this awesome program, where can they go? Can they follow you on social media? Tell us more about that.
They can go and apply for scholarships for the Mama I Want to Sing scholarship for the Mama Foundation on mamafoundation.org. And what's incredible is a young person can come in at 7, and a lot of them leave at 12th grade, and they never leave, and that impact stays with them for the rest of their life. And they learn breathing, harmony, pitch, control, on stage and off stage training.
Know your note like you know your name.
Know your note like you know your name. But mostly self-awareness and how to present yourself in the world. And learning your own voice means knowing how to raise your voice. And that's really important, whether it be through singing or anything else. Singing really teaches you how to raise your voice. So, and that's what we do here. So yeah, mamafoundation.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Knoelle, for stopping by Faye's Place. You are welcome back anytime. And to our listening audience, if you enjoyed this episode and what we're doing here at Faye's Place, be sure to give us a great rating at Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And tune in next Monday with another episode with you in mind. Love you all for listening.
Hi friends, it's Phaedra, and you are listening to Faye's Place. Join us each week as we talk to industry insiders about their journey and what it takes to turn dreams into a reality. Whether you aspire to be in the entertainment field or just inspired by the hustle, count this as your backstage pass. Join us every Monday for a brand new episode. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Faye's Place.